Breaking, Prince William just did something no future king has done in 70 years. He refused to show up to the Prime Minister's event, walked away, boycotted Keir Starmer in front of the entire world. And the reason why is about to shake British politics to its core. This is not a scheduled conflict. This is not a miscommunication. This is open rebellion from the future king against the sitting government. And if you think this is just royal drama, you're missing what's really happening here. Hit subscribe right now, because what comes next could change Britain forever. Here's exactly what went down. Yesterday afternoon, Prince William was scheduled to attend Starmer's Commonwealth Day reception at Lancaster House. Over 300 guests were already there. Dozens of ambassadors, international dignitaries, cameras ready. But 15 minutes before his planned arrival, Kensington Palace sent a message that stopped everyone cold. The Prince of Wales would not be attending. By attending, no warning, no diplomatic courtesy, just a flat refusal that left the Prime Minister's office scrambling to explain to confused foreign leaders why Britain's future king had just snubbed their event. The embarrassment was immediate and global. But here's what makes this absolutely unprecedented. Palace sources are now confirming this wasn't about logistics or health or any normal excuse. This was intentional. William reportedly told senior aides he couldn't stand on the same stage as the government he believes is actively trying to destroy the constitutional role of the monarchy. Those are fighting words from someone who's supposed to stay neutral no matter what. The timing couldn't be more explosive. Starmer's Labour government has been pushing proposals to slash royal funding and give Parliament veto power over royal appointments. While ministers call it modernisation, palace insiders are calling it something else entirely, a slow-motion coup against the Crown's independence. Draft documents leaked last month showed plans to reduce the sovereign grant and force royals to get government approval before major speeches or international trips. And William just said no, publicly, dramatically, in a way that breaks 70 years of careful royal neutrality. To understand how big this is, you need to know that working royals never make political statements, ever. They smile, shake hands and work with whatever government voters choose, regardless of personal feelings. The last time a senior royal publicly defied a sitting government was during the Suez Crisis in 1956, and that was behind closed doors. For William to boycott a government event in full view of international media puts him in territory no future king has entered since before Elizabeth II took the throne. The fallout was instant chaos. Foreign Secretary David Lammy was blindsided. Multiple sources confirm his office only found out about William's absence through back channels, not through proper diplomatic protocol. That breach alone tells you how fast this decision was made and how completely relations between Kensington Palace and Downing Street have collapsed. Cabinet members arriving at Lancaster House had to face a room full of international guests asking the same uncomfortable question. Where's the Prince of Wales? Commonwealth leaders, expecting to meet Britain's future king instead, got awkward apologies from ministers who clearly had no idea this was coming. The optics were catastrophic. Commonwealth Day is supposed to showcase British leadership and unity. Instead, it became a public display of constitutional warfare. Then at 8 p.m. last night, William dropped the statement that confirmed everyone's worst fears. Kensington Palace released carefully chosen words that were diplomatic in tone but nuclear in meaning. William spoke about defending constitutional foundations and upholding the role his family has protected for generations. He talked about maintaining the independence and dignity of the Crown. That word, independence, is everything. Legal experts immediately noted that William is essentially accusing the government of trying to make the monarchy dependent on parliamentary approval, which would turn the Crown from an institution above politics into a political football kicked around by whoever's in power. That's not reform, that's elimination by another name. Inside Westminster, panic is spreading. Labour MPs are privately terrified about picking a fight with the royal family at the worst possible time. Princess Catherine's approval ratings are in the high 70s. Prince William is one of Britain's most trusted public figures. Meanwhile, Starmer's government is already polling in the low 30s. Going to war with beloved royals while your own numbers are tanking is political suicide. Even Labour insiders are breaking ranks. One backbencher, speaking anonymously, called this an unforced error that's handing the opposition a gift they couldn't have dreamed up themselves. Another described Labour WhatsApp groups as ranging from concern to outright panic. Nobody thought the royals would actually fight back. Now that they are, the government has no plan, and William isn't alone. Sources close to other senior royals reveal that Princess Anne and Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, are just as furious about the government's approach. Anne, who quietly completes over 500 engagements annually without complaint or drama, is reportedly livid about proposals that would gut funding for working royals. There are now serious discussions about coordinated action, with multiple royals potentially refusing to attend government functions until the proposals are withdrawn. Think about what that means if senior royals boycott government events across the board. The entire machinery of British soft power breaks down. State dinners need royal hosts. Diplomatic receptions depend on royal presence for protocol. Honours ceremonies can't proceed without royal participation. The system only works if both sides cooperate. And cooperation just ended. The British public has already chosen sides, and it's not close. Social media exploded within hours. Hashtags supporting William trended globally with millions of posts. Polling conducted overnight shows 68% of Britons backing William's position. Only 14% support the government pushing forward despite royal objections. Even among Labour's own voters, only 31% support Starmer on this. Those are career-ending numbers. Conservative opposition leader Rishi Sunak immediately seized the opportunity. He pledged total support for the monarchy and promised to reverse every change if his party returns to power. Whether he means it or not doesn't matter anymore. It's working. Conservative polling jumped 7 points in 72 hours, their best performance since losing the election. Starmer just handed his opponents the perfect weapon. But here's the deeper problem that nobody's talking about. The monarchy needs government funding. The sovereign grant comes from Crown estate profits but requires parliamentary approval. If this fight escalates, both sides lose everything. Royals need that funding. The government needs royal cooperation for all the ceremonial functions that make Britain's system work. This is a standoff where victory is impossible. If William pushes too hard, he drags the monarchy into partisan politics, which could ultimately destroy the institution he's trying to save. If Starmer pushes too hard, he triggers a constitutional crisis that will define and doom his entire premiership. Constitutional experts are using words like unprecedented and dangerous. Britain's system runs on unwritten rules and mutual respect between Crown and Parliament. When that breaks down, there's no instruction manual. The last comparable situation was the abdication crisis of 1936, and that nearly ended the monarchy entirely. Nobody wants to find out what happens if we go down that road again. Professor Robert Hazel, a leading constitutional scholar, called this the most serious Crown government confrontation since World War II. He warned that both sides need to find a face-saving compromise immediately before positions become too entrenched to walk back. Once lines are drawn in public, climbing down becomes almost impossible. There's also the Commonwealth dimension. William has invested heavily in Commonwealth relations and sees himself as a future bridge between Britain and dozens of member nations. 15 Commonwealth countries still have the British monarch as head of state. If William believes the government is undermining his future role or disrespecting Commonwealth traditions, that explains why he's willing to risk so much. Several Commonwealth leaders have privately backed William's stance, according to diplomatic sources. They view the British monarchy as crucial symbolic glue holding the Commonwealth together. Anything that weakens the Crown weakens the entire organisation. And they're telling Starmer that loud and clear. The economic stakes are rising too. Royal events generate an estimated £1.8 billion annually in tourism revenue alone. The monarchy's value for British soft power and business diplomacy is harder to measure, but enormous. If senior royals start withdrawing from public life in protest, the economic and diplomatic costs will be real and painful. Inside number 10, sources describe growing alarm that this has been catastrophically mishandled. Some aides argue the government should have consulted the palace properly before announcing reforms. Others insist backing down now would look fatally weak. Starmer is trapped between his Republican base demanding action and political reality showing he's losing this fight badly. Parliament debates royal funding reforms on Tuesday. If that proceeds despite William's protest, expect escalation. If the government backs down, Starmer's own supporters will accuse him of caving to unelected privilege. There's no good option left. William has made his calculations. Speaking out now, even if it shatters protocol, is less dangerous than staying silent while the monarchy's constitutional foundation is dismantled piece by piece. Whether that gamble pays off will determine both his future as king and whether the British monarchy survives the 21st century. So what do you think? Is William right to break neutrality and fight back? Should Starmer back down to avoid crisis? Or does Britain need this confrontation to finally decide what the monarchy means in a modern democracy? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're covering every twist in this story. Share this with anyone who needs to understand what's really at stake. Tomorrow we break down Starmer's remaining options, and trust me, none of them are good. This is just the beginning.